Good morning, and welcome to Unity of Orange County. This is fabulous. So, for those of you who are watching from home, we actually have people in our church after 6 months. Yay! So, good things come to those who wait. So, thank you all who are here joining us, and thank everybody who's joining us on their TVs. And we always like to start off our service with our mission and our vision statement. Our vision is centered in divine love. We joyfully co-create a world that works for all. And our mission is to awaken, inspire, and transform lives. And I like to thank those people who make the service possible. We have Bill on piano, and Tom is doing sound, and John and Kimberly and Matthew are doing the streaming, and Christopher is on the camera. And our daily word and prayer person for today is Reverend Allison. So we wouldn't be able to do this without these people, so we're really grateful. And we're also grateful for the people who came early today to help set up and everything. So thank you all. And we have a few announcements. This Tuesday, September 15th, we're having our spiritual cinema discussion group. And the movie is Heal, which if you haven't seen it, is still on Netflix. And whether you're going to be at the discussion group or not, you really need to see this movie. This movie will change the way you look at the whole topic of health and healing. So please watch it for your own sake. And then on Thursday, September 17th, is the class that's called It's Never Too Late to Begin Again, Discovering Creativity and Meaning at Midlife and Beyond, by Julia Cameron, who is the author of The Artist's Way. This is a 12-week course, but 6 weeks. But it's 12 weeks, so it's going to happen over 6 weeks. And it focuses on creating the life you desire as you redefine and recreate yourself. You know, we're all redefining and recreating ourselves now, not just based on our age, but for a lot of people, jobs have changed, the way they work has changed. So this is a great class because this will help anybody going through the changes. And the Zoom number is up there. Also, the Zoom numbers are on our calendar on our website. If you click on the event that you're interested in, the Zoom number will be there. And you can also go to our website for a full listing of all our activities. And I'd just like to remind you that if you're buying things online, which a lot of people are now doing, Smile Amazon is the same as Amazon, but when you buy on Smile Amazon and you put Unity of Orange County as your charity, we get a little bit of whatever you spend, and it does help. Every little bit helps. So we're grateful for those who are buying on Amazon and doing it on Smile. And also, if you're watching this at home, please hit the like button and also subscribe to our channel and share our page, share our video with your friends on Facebook or Instagram, wherever you share things with. And if you wish to share a gift with us, you can do it by texting us at 77977 and put Unity of OC Give. So just a couple of things for those people who are here. So we came in one door, we're leaving out another door. So when it's time to leave, please leave this door here at the front of the sanctuary. Also, please don't congregate in the sanctuary, but you can congregate outside. So if you don't mind a little smoke, pollution, whatever, but it's not too hot. And so it's a good day to stand outside and communicate out there. And also, as you go out, when you leave the sanctuary, if you take the chair covers off and put them in the basket, and as you're leaving, if you wish, there's a little box there for donation. So we're glad that you're here, whether you're here in person or whether you're here on your TV or your camera or your phone. Anyway, we're glad that you're all here. And now I'd like to introduce Reverend Allison.
Good morning. So joyous to see faces again. And how appropriate that the daily word for today is love. And today is Sunday, September 13th, 2020. I open my heart in love. I express the love I feel in my heart by showing my affection and giving nurturing attention. I speak loving, positive words that let those I care about know how much they mean to me. As words affirm their goodness, beauty, and intelligence, I watch those qualities bloom like flowers blessed by sunshine. I extend my arms and I embrace my family and friends with the warmth and comfort of unconditional love. I support my loved ones with compassion and care on this journey through life. I share my wisdom and I teach my experience as I advise and my understanding as I console. I pray for those that I love, knowing that the Christ within them is the light that guides them everywhere. They go and everything they do. I am grateful for my role in my loved ones' lives. And our scripture today is John 3:18. Little children, let us love, not in word or speech, but in truth and action. And I just invite you now to get ready for our meditation. Find a comfortable space and just begin those wonderful healing breaths. And as we breathe in, let's just think about that love, that opportunity for love in each and everything we do. And as we breathe out, let us that peace just enfold you as you go deeper within. And as you're in the silence this morning, I'm going to offer you a meditation by Ernest Holmes called The House of Love. So continue deep breathing. Continue to relax and just listen to the words. I dwell in the house of love. My dwelling place is filled with peace and eternal calm. Love attends me in my home of the soul. Joy awaits upon me in the secret place of the Most High. My house is built for me by the hand of love. I shall never leave this home of the Spirit, for it is always present. I shall abide in this home forevermore. And as you just continue in the silence, take these final words with you as you go deep. My house is a house of love. Namaste.
Bill, thank you so much. So, good morning again. Someone once asked me, they said, where do you get your ideas for your talks? And I said, I can get them from anywhere. I can do it from a movie or a song or something that happens during the week. Well, this week, I also have another job. And back in May, we were given T-shirts. And the T-shirts say resilient, hopeful, and thankful. I've been wearing this shirt for months. And this week, all of a sudden, I thought, what do we need now? We need resilience, we need hope, and we need gratitude. And I've had it in front of me this whole time, and I didn't see it. And then I saw this quote. Just I do daily readings, different daily readings. And 2 days ago, this was a quote from Anne Merrill Lindbergh. It isn't the moment you are struck that you need courage, but the long uphill climb back to sanity, faith, and security. And I thought to myself, that is so true. It is true when we go through anything difficult. It's certainly true nowadays. So I want to look at these things. We're going to look at hope and gratitude first because we've never really talked about resilience. But we know that hopeful means full of hope, expressing hope. And Jesus taught us that we are to be like children. And children are very hopeful by nature. You know, they expect the good. They expect they're going to get what they ask for Santa Claus for. They expect that the things that they're looking forward to are going to happen. They just have this natural ability to hope. And one of my favorite quotes in the Bible is from Jeremiah, which says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, says the Lord, plans for welfare and not for calamity, to give you a future and a hope." So we are naturally hopeful, but sometimes we forget that because we can get wrapped up into what is going on in the world around us and we give up on hope. But we need to hold on to that hope. And then gratitude. You know, we talk about gratitude a lot because gratitude is one of those things that you can't do enough of. There's no such thing as too much gratitude. If you have trouble finding gratitude in today's world, we have a gratitude circle that meets the first Monday of every month. We're going to have a gratitude 40 days of gratitude leading up to Thanksgiving. So there's all these ways to work on your gratitude. It's so important. Otto Frederick Bollner wrote, "The virtue of gratitude directly touches the ultimate foundation of human existence. For there is hardly another quality of man that is so suited to reveal the state of his inner, spiritual, and moral health as his capacity to be grateful." So the question we have to ask ourselves is, how grateful are we? And if we're not grateful, we need to develop it. Gratitude is something you can develop. You can do it by doing gratitude lists every day. You can do it just by thanking God when you go out for another day, for the sky, for the trees, for the birds, for everything. The more that we are grateful, what happens is the more things come to us that we have to be grateful for. Because we know that our thoughts attract things to us. So when we are grateful, we are having positive thoughts and we attract more positive things. There's nothing worse than not being grateful. You know, even when times are hard, we have to be grateful. But the big thing is resilience, because it's now 6 months since this all began. And the word resilience is interesting. Resilient means bouncing back, rebounding, returning to the original form after being bent, compressed, stretched, or recovering steadily from illness, depression, adversity, or the like. So resilience is the ability to cope with adversity and use challenges to forge your strength. So resilience, that quote is perfect, because what happens to us sometimes is we don't realize that when things happen, as bad as they may seem, that period of resilience, of recovery, of bouncing back is sometimes harder than the actual event. I know we have the fires now in California, and I can tell you from my own experience with the natural disaster that as bad as the fires are, the rebuilding is worse. We were in Miami for Hurricane Andrew, and someone had a T-shirt made up, and it said, "I survived Hurricane Andrew, but I'm not going to survive now." Because the aftermath, there's no air conditioning, there's no phones, there's no electric, there's no supermarkets aren't open. You know, everything is kind of like, and getting your houses worked on, you know, there's lots of people coming and trying to steal from people and cheat people, and finding people to work on your house when there are thousands and thousands and thousands of homes that have to be worked on is not easy. So it's a long time of recovery. But the stronger that we are and the more able we are to recover and rebound, then the easier it is for us to go through these difficult times. So in Psychology Today, it said building resilience can help us to stay focused, flexible, and productive in both good times and bad. It can help us feel less afraid of new experiences or of an uncertain future. It can manage and tolerate strong emotions outside our comfort zone, even those you'd rather avoid, like anger or despair. It can strengthen our relationships and improve our communication skills, especially under pressure. It can bolster our self-esteem, and it can help us be confident that eventually we'll find a solution to a problem, even when one isn't apparently evident. So this thing is very good for us to be resilient. And there are certain ways, things that we can do to be more resilient. So the first thing is practicing acceptance. So whenever we're going through a difficult time, when I'm going through a difficult time, I live and breathe by the serenity prayer, which is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So what do we have to accept? What are the things that we have to accept? And what are the things that we have to change? Well, I heard someone describe it perfectly. They said that it's as if there's this hula hoop around them, and they cannot change anything outside their hula hoop. So anything outside their hula hoop is they can't change. So another way to think of it is we can't change people, places, and things. We can't change the weather. We can't change the virus. We can't change the fact of we have a job or we don't have a job. Those things we have to accept. So if we have to accept all this stuff, what can we change? Because if we don't feel we can change something, we feel powerless. And there's nothing worse than feeling powerless. Because when we feel powerless, we give up hope. So what do we have the ability to change is ourselves. For instance, the virus. We can't change the virus unless you're some scientist that miraculously is going to come up with a vaccine in the next week or two. But we can change our attitude toward it. We can't change the weather, but we can change our attitude toward it. So it was really hot last week or 2 weeks ago, and I'm guilty of this as much as anyone. And so everyone's complaining about the heat. Well, the fact of the matter is that no matter how much you complain about the heat, it doesn't change the heat. And the more you complain about something, the harder it is to accept it. And therefore, the more difficult it comes to deal with it. So complaining about the heat doesn't make it any cooler. I mean, think about it. Complaining when it's cold doesn't make it any warmer. It's like someone told me once, it's like you go to the restaurant and you order a bowl of soup. And it's a hot soup. And the soup comes and it's cold. So you can just tell the waiter, my soup is cold. Can you please bring me a hot soup? Or you can go complain to everybody at the table about how cold the soup is, how bad the waiter was, that the kitchen messed up, the waiter doesn't know what they're doing, you're not going to leave them a tip, and you've done all this complaining, and guess what? You still don't have hot soup. It'd be much easier to just say, hey, you know what? I would like some hot soup. And then you would get a bowl of soup. So we have to realize that this trying to control things which we can't control and accepting things that we can and having that wisdom to know the difference. So an easy question I ask myself when I start to get worked up about feeling powerless over something or I can't control something is I ask myself, is this about people, places, and things? If it's people, places, and things, I cannot control it. And then I have to work on my attitude. I have to work on my attitude through meditation and gratitude and all of that. Another thing we can do during these times of adversity is reach out to others. Now, before you go, well, I can't reach out to others because I can't have contact with others and blah, 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 blah. We live in this world of media wonder. We have YouTube, we have videos, we have Facebook, we have iPhones and TVs and telephones and all kinds of stuff. And so we can reach out to people. We can send letters. That's a forgotten art, sending letters. You know how nice it is to receive a letter from somebody? It's like this gift from the gods because you hardly ever get that anymore. So sending letters to a neighbor or a friend or someone you haven't seen not only helps them, but it helps you. It helps you become more resilient. It helps you get through this difficult time and overcome the adversity. So reach out to people. It can be really simple. I called my sisters. My sisters live back east. And about a month ago, I called them and I said, let's have a Zoom get together. Because we were supposed to see each other in November, and it turned out we weren't going to. So we all got on Zoom, and for an hour we met on Zoom. And it was so nice seeing their faces, and even at the end of the hour we didn't want to hang up. We were just busy yakking. And then I thought that worked out well. I called my son. I said, you know, I haven't seen my grandkids. Let's have a Zoom meeting so that I could see the grandkids. So then we were on Zoom, and they can show me things that they were working on and all kinds of stuff, and it made me feel better that I was not there because I had this communication. So when we reach out, it helps us get through these times. So don't forget to reach out. But while you're reaching out, Avoid negative people. All right? Anyone know people like that? You call them up, and what they do is they go on and on and on about the same thing. So it's the same thing like with the soup. I'm very happy to listen to your problems once, but I don't want to hear it in one conversation repeated over and over and over again. Because when we put ourselves with that kind of negativity, we become negative. When I was in ministerial school and we went through classes on spiritual counseling, they said that you're not a therapist, and so you only meet with someone 3 times over the same problem. If it can't be resolved on a spiritual basis through prayer in 3 times, they need to go to a therapist, because they just need that. So we need to avoid negative people when we're reaching out. And the other thing we need to do is invest in self-care. It's so easy, and I'm guilty of this too, that, at the beginning it was so nice. It was like vacation. You didn't have to go anywhere. You didn't have to do anything. You could just eat junk food and watch TV and, had an excuse to just eat whatever you wanted to eat. Couple of weeks, a month was fine. We're now 6 months into this thing, and it's time we start taking care of ourselves. We need to eat better, not worse, because the healthier we eat, the more immunity we have against this thing. And we have to get some exercise. We can go out and walk. We can do exercise in the house. We have to move our bodies. We have to eat well. We have to spend time meditating in prayer, doing the things that care for us, taking a long bath, whatever self-care we can do. And then we have to look for meaning and purpose in our life. A life without meaning and purpose is a difficult life. And it doesn't have to be any big purpose. It could be something as simple as reaching out to those around you, making a difference in someone else's life. It could be baking cookies for your neighbors, or squeezing oranges for orange juice, or just helping someone so that when you get up in the morning, instead of saying, oh, it's another day, same thing over and over again. It's like, oh, it's another day. I get to do something positive. I get to live my life with purpose, because purpose is the whole thing behind us wanting to live. So this whole idea of resilience brings up sports movies. Because the thing I love about sports movies is, especially the ones that are based on true stories, is they're usually about people having a lot of resilience, about people overcoming difficulty. So a couple of weeks ago, because I do watch movies, not all day, but I do watch movies, because I need inspiration. So I'm watching MacArthur USA. I think that's the name of it. It's McFarlane, yes. McFarlane USA. And I watched it before. And it's this great story if you haven't seen it. So it's about this football coach who loses his job, and he winds up in McFarland, Texas, and it's like an immigrant area. And it doesn't work out as his job as assistant coach. But one day he notices one of his kids, who they all work in the fields, running, and he couldn't believe how fast this kid ran. And he followed him. He couldn't believe how far he ran. And he got this idea to have a cross-country team. Well, cross-country is a sport of wealthy schools. It's not the kind of sport you see in inner cities. It's not the kind of sport you see in rural areas. But he decided to create a cross-country. And so they actually start to do really well. And after losing some events, they start winning, and they go to the state championship. And this scene is him talking to these kids who are getting ready to compete against kids that have all kinds of things going for them. These kids have nothing going for them. And this is his talk.
All right, everybody, gather around. Come on. I want you to look around. Best in the state, right? Every team that's here deserves to be, including you. But they haven't got what you got, all right? They don't get up at dawn like you and go to work in the fields, right? They don't go to school all day and then go back to those same fields. That's what you do. And then you come out with me and you run 8 miles, 10 miles, and you take on even more pain. These kids don't do what you do. They can't even imagine it. When I went out in the field that day with you Diaz kids, I'll be honest with you, it was the worst day's work I ever had to do in my life. And I said to myself, whatever kind of crappy job I end up in, it'll never be as tough as that. You kids do it every day. And your parents hope they can do it every day. And they'll do it for a lifetime if it means a better life for you. You guys are superhuman. What you endure just to be here, to get a shot at this, the kind of privilege that someone like me takes for granted. There's nothing you can't do with that kind of strength, with that kind of heart. You kids have the biggest hearts I've ever seen. Now go run your race.
So that's resilience. These kids getting up every morning at dawn and working in fields, going to school, going back and working at fields, and then running. These children have no hope of any future at all other than to spend their lives in the field like their parents. What's interesting is at the end of the movie, they show the real kids who are now adults, and then they show like where they are today. All of them got to go to college. These are kids who most of them never graduate high school. And that's because that ability to be resilient, to bounce back, to keep going, to overcome those difficulties. And they did it even in times when they had no hope. So we have to use this time to build ourselves up, to make ourselves stronger so that we can go through these times, to make ourselves realize that whatever challenges we go through, there is hope that things are going to get better. And to remember to be grateful for the things we have rather than being ungrateful for what we don't have. And mostly to remember to be resilient, to remember that we can bounce back. We will bounce back. With the right mental attitude and heart, there's nothing that we cannot do. So I invite you to close your eyes for a moment. And take a few deep breaths. And honestly ask yourself, do I have hope? Am I grateful? Am I resilient? Or do I allow the world to knock me down, to keep me from getting up, to letting the things that happen to me become who I am, instead of being who we are, in spite of whatever happens to us? We are children of God. We are whole and perfect, created in the image and likeness of God. That is who we are. We are not the virus. We are not our grief. We are not our financial woes. We are not our health challenges. We are God's children, God's light. It is time to not let the world shut that light down, but to stand up and to let that light shine and to bounce back. And one day we will look back and know that this too was good. This too was God. And this too was meant for us. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, Bill. Here at Unity, we have 5 basic principles, and we like to affirm them each week to remind us of what it is that Unity believes. And so the first one, if you're here, please repeat with me. God is all good and active in everything, everywhere. And 2, I am naturally good because God's divinity is in me and in everyone. And 3, I create my experiences by what I choose to think and what I feel and believe. And 4, through affirmative prayer and meditation, I connect with God and bring out the good in my life. And 5, I do and give my best by living the truth that I know. I make a difference. And you do make a difference. You make a difference to this church in so many ways. And one way is through giving. And we have lots of ways that you can give. You can do it on our website under Donate. You can do it by texting. You can also do it through our app. And you can do it the old-fashioned way and write a check and mail it. And put a little note. I have to just tell you, sometimes, I get the checks and people who send the checks, and it's so nice. Sometimes they just write a little note like, oh, I really miss being there, or I really miss you. And it's just like a nice little ray of sunshine from someone that I haven't seen in a while. So whatever way you give, we're grateful. And if you're here and you want to give in person, and for those who are out there giving, we're going to start doing our affirmation for our giving. So if you take your gifts in your hands, or if you're giving by phone, hold your phone or anything, and just take a moment to be grateful for the gifts that you are about to give, as we are grateful for the gifts that we are about to receive. As we affirm together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. Thank you. So we always like to close our service with our prayer for protection. So I invite everybody out there to join us. And again, thank you for being here, being a part of Unity of Orange County. And let us close with our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, and God bless. Have a great week.